Good morning, property leaders. I'm former United States Army Sergeant Anthony Russell, and today I'm answering a question from Cora on how to deal with bad tenants. Okay, so today's question comes from Cora, and it's very simple. It says, how does a small landlord deal with a bad tenant? It's pretty broad of a question. I mean, what is a bad tenant? Is a bad tenant somebody that is trashing your units, or are they just obnoxious? Do they just call you a lot? Which, by the way, if you go through my book, tenant calling you a lot is a good thing, not a bad thing. It's a bad thing when they don't call you and you have problems. But that's for another video. How to deal with a bad tenant. So we all get bad tenants sometimes, and when I think of a bad tenant, I think of tenants that are like causing damage to the building, or they're constantly late with their rent, or they're harassing other tenants. That's my idea of a bad tenant. There's a few different ways to handle this. Obviously, if they're in breach of their lease, you can evict them. I try not to evict tenants unless it's the most serious case, because just like any business, getting new customers, acquiring new customers is expensive. If you evict a tenant, depending on where you're at, in most cases you can expect the tenant to just stop paying rent, and it might be a 30 to 60 to 90 day process to get them out of there. So if you want to go down that road, feel free, but I usually reserve that to the end. One thing I do like to do, though, if I have a tenant that is causing issues, before I kick them out or get rid of them, I will tell them. I'll be like, hey, look, this behavior is unacceptable, and if you continue to do this, I'm not going to renew your lease. Your lease is up in 4 months, 5 months, and you can expect it to not be renewed if this continues. And if the behavior continues, then tell them 2 months out, tell them 3 months out, be like, hey, look, we are going to go our separate ways. I'm not going to renew your lease, and you're going to have to find another place to go. And you just tell them that. And then that's the end of it. You don't have, there's nothing requiring you to renew their lease. It's your building, it's your property. You're allowed to do what you want with it within the scope of the lease and the law. So that's actually my favorite way to handle a tenant that is quote, quote, bad. Because it kind of just, I don't know, the contract just kind of plays itself out, and it's a good ending for everybody. I mean, the tenant knows when their lease is over, so it shouldn't come to a surprise. It shouldn't come as a surprise to them when the lease is up. It gives them time to plan. So I would encourage to try something like that, but I would also encourage you to try and resolve your issues, because, like I said, finding new customers is way more expensive than keeping existing customers. So if you have a tenant that's actually paying on time, it's probably worth trying to keep them. Good question. If you recognize this question from Cora, go ahead and reach out to me, and I will send you a free copy of my book, Leadership for Landlords. If you'd like a copy of my book, Leadership for Landlords, check it out on Amazon, available now in paperback and ebook. Please make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. All right, property leaders, get out on patrol, get into those buildings, and find something to fix, huh?